Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Embedded Executive. This week, my embedded executive is Min Woo, who is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Macronix International. How you doing, Min?
Well, pretty good, Rich. Thank you for your invitations.
Oh, my pleasure. So I don't want to go too far down this road, but you you clearly know more about memory than anybody that I've come across. I've never asked a question pertaining to memory that you either didn't know the answer to or you made up an answer that was so good that I believed you. So that's what we're going to get into here.
Sure. Any question, I try to give the best answers.
Absolutely. So let's start with NAND. Um, Stackable is a very viable process for NAND and improving these densities. Are we at the are we at the point where we're not going to see any more improvements in NAND, or is there still a ways to go?
Well, for the NAND, very obviously you're trying to stack many layer in onto the chips. So right now, people already are able to ship 100 plus of the layers, and now the people also trying to ship more than 200 layers, and some companies are developing 500 or even 100 layers. But I think the challenge is the equipment availability, right? So when you trying to etch the 500 layers or 1,000 layers, you got to have the right tool to do that. So actually, it's not the concept of the devices, but actually the challenge will be on the etching equipment.
So where does Macronix fit in respect to that? Because if you're talking about the tooling, are you guys helping developing that tooling?
No, actually, I think all the equipment vendor, they probably going to work with the most leading factories. That means if someone already doing 500 layers and nobody else is doing it, the equipment vendor probably going to work with them. So in our cases, we are behind all these big company because we are relatively small scale. But however, we believe that we're trying to distinguish us from the layer, but rather we're trying to focusing on applications. So
Okay,
I think
that's an interesting thought. Hold on to that one, and I'm going to come back to that. But the question that came to my mind is, if it's the manufacturers who are driving the innovation, how does somebody like Macronix have an advantage over its competitors if everybody's using the same manufacturers or has access to those same manufacturers?
yes, I think what happened is I think the untold story from the equipment area, the equipment vendor who work with the semiconductor company to develop the new equipment. Normally, the people who work with them will take advantage of the number of years ahead of other competitors. So I think that is the way to do. So I think we are not the leading technology provider. So what we are doing is we can just take advantage the maturity of the equipment and rather to taking the leadership in the technology area, but we're trying to uh, try the different applications. So hopefully we can benefit from the mature technology.
Okay, so now let's go back to your point about applications. What do you mean when you say you're developing for applications? I always come back to it's just memory. Memory is memory. So where does the application fit?
Well, that's where we want to change. I think you are right, Rick. I think the memory is the memory, nothing else. But what we're trying to do is several years ago, I actually promoting the memory-centric solution. So what that means is we're trying to using memory as a basic a tool, and then we're trying to apply a system application on the chip. So this chip not only just working as memory, but they can using to response the informations quick enough. So that's, for example, like edge computings, things like that, or CIM, computing in memory, so on and so forth. So those are the area where we are having very high interest.
Are you referring to integrating some sort of controller into the memory?
Well, not necessarily. We're just using the memory to do that in a way, because in the NAND, basically you have a lot of gate inside. So properly, if you properly arrange that, you can using those gate to do it, to do certain things.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Um, I often get the feeling that a lot of these things are marketing spin because everybody wants to talk about artificial intelligence and my memory's better for artificial intelligence. Are you saying that that's actually based on fact and it's not marketing spin?
Uh, can you repeat your question again?
Sure. I often find that people are moving their memory into application spaces, but it's just the same memory, and it's marketing, and it's not based on physical attributes. But are you saying that that's not the case? That it is actually different?
Yes, actually, we are trying to do certain applications uh, circuit inside the memory chips, so we can do something simple mathematics calculations. Yes,
Is that something you offer today, or is that down the road?
will be so.
Okay.
Yes, it's take time to develop applications and also develop technology. So doing the memory is not that easy. We also need to find out the right applications. So without right applications, even we come up something is not going to be useful.
Okay. That certainly makes sense. All right. So now let's shift to NOR memory. When you talk about
Yes.
3D NOR, where does that stand in relation to where we are with NAND?
Well, basically, the only thing in common is the 3D. But however, the NAND structure and the NOR structure are quite different. So in the way, we can learn something from the 3D NAND in terms of manufacturing. But however, the device structure and also the technology quite different. So between 3D NOR and 3D NAND. So actually, we need new innovations to create something work and also have a better quality level compared to 3D NAND. So there's a lot of difference there.
Okay, get a little bit into the weeds for me. What is the difference between the NAND and the NOR from a physical perspective?
Well, basically, NAND is the many memory cells in serial, and the NOR is you can access independently. So that is fundamental difference between NAND and NOR. So because of that difference, is also when you trying to develop 3D, and there are many ways to do it. That's number one difference. Number two, the NAND basically you don't need to worry about quality of the storage. But the NOR, yes, you have to like a 2D NOR devices where you want to make sure your P cycle more than 100, better than 100Ks, so on and so forth. So those are the fundamental difference. So in order to make the device better, so you have to think of different way to make that better.
Okay. And is it the same case where the onus is actually on the manufacturers for NOR, just like it is for NAND, as we described earlier?
Yes.
Okay. So what's somebody like Macronix doing to push the technology forward when the onus is on the manufacturers, not on the suppliers?
Well, in the 3D area, the reason is we already take the leadership in the 2D. So what we're trying to do is we are thinking in the automotive world, the higher density of the NOR become a very useful. And I think the many automotive guy, without the proper solution, they have to use NAND, but the NAND will not be so safe. So I think that trigger us to think about to really develop 3D NOR. And I think once we know how to do that, And actually, this is going to be very, very useful for automotive industry.
Okay. So let's project out about 5 years. What does NAND and NOR memory look like 5 years from now?
Well, I think NAND will be continue to grow because right now everybody need the big storage places, right? So I think the NAND will be continue increase their memory size, and I'm sure with all these AI whatever applications, that's continue will be going to be there. So I believe this big company, the big company, they can able to maintain the leadership on over there.
But you don't see anything revolutionary. You just see memories getting more dense and higher capacities. There's no 4D memory out there that will take over.
Not now. I think 3D already tough enough. In order to etch 1,000 layers, it's not going to be easy. I didn't mean that's not going to happen, but I think we are depending on uh, uh, the vendors. But however, the NOR is different because even today, the NOR, I think in the NOR space, people are looking for 2 gigabit, 4 gigabit, or maybe 8 gigabit. You know, there are lots of applications can be applied there. So to us, it will be much easier for us to come out with a single die of the 4 gigabit and the 8 gigabit devices for tough applications. So we believe the demand will be grow.
Okay. One more for you, and this is the off track question. Where does artificial intelligence fit into your business from a design perspective? Not from where your memory is going to go, but in a few years, do you still need engineers anymore, or do you just put everything into AI and let it do the design for you?
Well, that puts away in AI. I think they can replace human being if the human being don't using their brain. So based on 80-20 rules, so 80% people they do routine work, and then AI can really replace them. But I believe if you are the 20% of people who continue using your brain to create new things, I don't believe AI can help you on that.
So you think in a few years you'll reduce your staff by 80%?
No, not really. But as I said, the routine work, for example, people are talking about the clock, or maybe someday they say that in the kitchen, you can have a robot to cook for you. Those are routine work. Yes, you can replace by the robot or artificial intelligence. But in Macronix innovative company, so what we're trying to do is if we're trying to create the new ideas, and then I think humans still the most important resources for us.
Okay. I hope you're right. I don't want to see those 80% people out on the street, so that would be a bad thing.
Well, then I think they have to work hard trying to be not belongs to the 80% of the people.
Very fair point. Thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time to educate the audience on memory. Like I said, you know more about this than anybody I've ever come across, so I do appreciate it.
Thank you for your compliment.
That was Min Woo. He is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Macronix International, and I am Rich Nass with Open Systems Media.